Hi, so today I'm going to have another look at the Dr. Breary interview for ITV. So this is in light of the press conference, the announcement from Mark MacDonald and all the information that came out from that. So it's called Dr. Stephen Breary Interview ITV, and it's clips from a whole interview. Now, I've talked about this interview before, but I want to go over it again, obviously in the light of things that we know now that we didn't know before. So one thing I'll say at the start is his presentation. He seems to be a bit nervous at the start of the interview. His presentation is quite halting. He's softly spoken. He's often searching for words. He does seem to have a bit of a stutter. Now, this is quite a short sample, really, of his speech, but I think this actually is representative of his baseline, and the reason I think that is because he does seem to search for words, so he doesn't naturally seem to be that confident. I wouldn't necessarily say not confident speaking, but he does seem to be someone who words don't necessarily come as easy to him as they might to someone else. And also because I've noticed he does have a slight stutter. Maybe he grew up with a bit of a problem with that, and you know, it's a lot fainter now, but there does seem to be an actual stutter there. So I think he's not a big talker to start with. So he, what have I got? He does get his confidence in some areas. Now this is where he's recalling events that have specific first of all, if he's recalling something that can be recited, as we'll see, but events that have particular concrete concrete unfolding. So, you know, the plate was on the table, then John took the plate off the table, he put the plate in the sink. So that's what I mean is very physical events. So that's kind of the upsumming. At 3:41, this is where he talks about a conversation he had with Lucy Letby, and he apparently it was a phone conversation, and he was concerned that she shouldn't come in to work the next day because I think there'd been a collapse, and he thought that there'd be another one if she came on duty, so he was trying to dissuade her. And as we know, he remembers incorrectly things he said or didn't say. So there have been several instances where he's claimed to have said things at a certain time, at a certain place, and people have said, no, he never said that. The not nice Lucy, that is a case in point. That is right at the beginning of this interview. You can't see his face when he says that, so you know, you can't sort of take a reading on it. But mentioning this conversation, he's talking about this conversation he had. We don't know if he had that conversation, whether he said those words, because he does have a bit of a history, a bit of a pattern here of not remembering really whether he did have a conversation or not. So something interesting happens here at around 4 minutes 6 or 7 seconds. He actually sneers. So when he says you'll have to take responsibility if anything happens, and he actually sneers when he says that, which is what's going on there? And I can't say, well, he's thinking this, or he's remembering and he's angry, or whatever, because you can't know exactly what's going on in someone's head. I can just say when he says that, he actually sneers, and that is unusual, because it's just kind of a run-of-the-mill conversation, or an official conversation. He's trying to dissuade her from coming into work. Obviously it's a phone conversation, according to him, so telephone conversations can be traced, potentially. I mean, I don't know if very old ones can or not, but potentially they can. At 5:20, what have we got? Evidence. Yeah, this is to do with the evidence claim. But what have I got? He's reciting wording. This is about the letter that they got, telling him, that's right, the famous letter telling him that, you know, they're going to draw a line under it, you will draw a line under it. He recites that actually quite confidently. And I think when he has set words, like wrote learning or whatever, I think this is just something he is more confident with, because he doesn't have to search for words. Now, I will say at this point, he does also appear to be quite careful about what he is saying. So he is careful to choose the right words. So I think there's these two things going on with him. He's someone who doesn't find it easy to find the right words, but also he is trying to choose the right words. And when he speaks, his voice sounds a little bit immature. I don't mean to say that he is immature. It's almost, maybe there's a bit of a lisp, maybe it's coming from the back of the mouth. So he doesn't seem to be a very confident speaker, or a necessarily very fluent speaker, or not as confident or as fluent as some other people. So he is asked, so the reporter asks if she thinks they wanted to close the case. That's the management. That's about 5:55, and he actually does this, he kind of backs away, and it almost looks as if he's been cornered by that question, and I think it's the yeah, do you think this is a cover-up? Do you think they wanted to close the case? But the way he backs away, it does look like he is uncomfortable, he feels cornered. So yeah, on to 656, where she asks about the results not being flagged up. Was this a missed opportunity? And again, he has an expression, a sudden expression, where he looks, I mean, he says, yes, this was a missed opportunity, but he looks very, very uncomfortable when he's saying it. So when he answers, there's a visible shift. And it's like he's kind of a bit lost, can't quite find the appropriate words, what he should be saying. And it looks like he's in a struggle to get control of his own narratives, and he is choosing his words very, very carefully here by the looks of it. Now, at 8:09, this is where he's asked, you know, do you feel that Countess of Chester Hospital is safe for expectant mothers? Do you have confidence? And this is where he says yes, but he's almost bursting into tears, and everything about the way he answers that is actually saying, no, I don't feel that. And I pointed to that before as, oh, why is he so upset? Why does he feel it's not safe? Because by then, as we know, Lucy is in prison. So the threat is gone. The ward has been downgraded to not take the sickest babies. So that risk is gone. So people should have confidence. And it, you know, it struck me as odd, but now knowing what we know, is it possible that, you know, he is feeling some personal guilt about this? Because this is real emotion at this point. This is not the fake jaw-grabbing stuff that Jairam does. So I wonder if, you know, it's actually a bit of a guilty conscience there. Now, noticing this about him, you know, wondering who did what, and who was on duty when. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be one person. If more than one person was in on, you know, no good stuff, you know, they could have taken turns depending who was on shift. And I think in this situation, you have a situation where Dr. Jairam, he is very, very agile with words, and these two are sharing an office. So Dr. Jairam, is the one who can really take over in all of this. Certainly he can talk for Britain. And, you know, Dr. Breary might have actually followed him, or might have been overwhelmed by him and gone along with it, which is just as bad, actually. But I'm just thinking what the dynamic was possibly between those two. So anyway, I hope this was useful. Please like, subscribe, hope to see you in the next video, and hope we start getting some more good news about this, that things are starting to move in a positive direction. And you know, this you know, Mark MacDonald is able to, you know, really look into this really thoroughly, and you know, hopefully that'll be helpful to Lucy. Okay.